wants us to find our inner Beyonce. Get this, apparently women created a record number of new companies last year, yet still stark gender inequality when it comes to raising those early stage finances. So getting the money to get those businesses off the ground, it is difficult. In fact, new figures reveal male-owned startups get about 6 times as much funding as those founded by women. So Lisa Johnson from Bedfordshire wants to encourage women to find their inner Queen Bey and fight for more recognition in the business world. Lisa joins us now. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So tell me, first of all, how did you end up in the world of business?
So in my mid-30s, I got pregnant with twins, and there's no point going back to work if you have twins, because the amount that you earn doesn't even cover the childcare costs. And so ended up starting my own business and became really good at it, and so started teaching other people, especially women who don't want to go back into the workplace, how to start their own businesses. And I've been doing this for about 6 years now, and it's become pretty successful.
But Lisa, didn't any men tell you you can't have children and be successful at business at the same time? Did no one tell you that?
Oh, lots of people told me that. Lots of people. or when you have a business, they say things like, "Oh, how's your little business getting on?"
Oh, the little business.
Little business getting on, yeah.
Well, Lisa, how is the little business getting on? Go on.
All right. We make around 4 million a year.
Oh, it's doing all right then, the little business.
Doing okay?
Yeah, it's doing fine. Well, I just sort of found these figures quite startling, really, because apparently half of female-led companies are self-funded compared to a third of male-led companies. So why is it that within the business world, women are treated so differently?
I think they've always been treated differently. I really think that women in business, a lot of the time, it's just thought that they have a tabletop business, a kitchen table business, something to do around the kids, rather than, you'd never think that of a man. You'd never think, oh, they're just doing it around the kids. You'd think, oh, they're a business owner. But for female business owners, it's often thought of as secondary, but also a huge amount of the rest of the responsibilities do go on their plate. So whether that's childcare or looking after a house or anything else, it does tend to go onto a female's responsibility rota. And so I think that women themselves who start up in business don't even think of themselves as real businesses for a period of time. And so when it comes to things like funding, men go out and get funding really quickly. They know they're going to need capital to invest. Women try and do it on their own. And I think some of that is the confidence to go out and apply for funding, because they've been made to feel like they don't have a bona fide business. And so it's hard then to go out and say, well, actually, I'm going to get funding. I'm going to put all the figures down. I'm going to show what I can do.
I think you're bang on there, aren't you? Because it's interesting as well. Like when you look at sort of, I guess, the well-known businessmen, right? You look at your Richard Bransons and you look at your Alan Sugars. No one's looking at them and saying, oh, they just needed something to do while they're at home looking after the kids. No one says that. And they're not going around thinking that. But it's really interesting that you seem to think that actually, no, women don't think of themselves in the same regard as that. And that is what knocks their confidence.
Yeah, and I think it's some women, obviously because some women do. I did right from the beginning. I saw myself in competition with any businesses, male or female. It didn't really matter to me. I knew that I could have a really successful big business. But more and more of my clients, I have thousands of clients at any one time, and I definitely see a difference between the confidence levels of the women thinking, oh, well, I can't possibly do that. For instance, if they're really good at something, a man will go onto social media and talk very openly about how good they are and how much money they made. A woman won't do that. Some will, but it will take some effort to feel like, they've been told they should not boast. They should not sell themselves. They shouldn't talk about themselves in this way. Whereas men get over that really easily. Women take a while to come around to the idea that actually they can shout about their achievements and it's okay.
So this is where this comes in then. You're asking people to find their inner Beyonce. What do you mean by that?
I mean that everybody really has this part inside of them that knows they can have a massive, successful business. You know, these business people that start up, it's because they want to make an impact. They want to change something. They want to make more money, or they want to help other people. Whatever it is they want to do, they started a business for a reason. So instead of kind of thinking, well, this is who I am, I'm not allowed to do this, people will judge me, all of those things, be that Beyonce character. You know, Beyonce has this inner character where Sasha Fierce comes out and she just goes out there and she says exactly what she wants to, and she talks about how brilliant she is. She's fierce. And I think if more female entrepreneurs did that, they would go so far.
Yeah, having seen Beyonce in the last month live in the flesh, that you've got to have a bit of that energy in all aspects of your life, men and women, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Go for it. So I'm also quite curious to know as well, sort of as a woman in the business world, what other challenges and difficulties do you run into that maybe your male counterparts don't necessarily run into?
I think a lot of it is perception. So when people come to female-owned businesses, they don't necessarily believe that you're going to be reliable, for instance, that you might have to, you know, look after the kids or something like that. They don't necessarily believe you can do as well as some of the big male-owned businesses, when actually, of course, we can. Speakers as well. It's, as somebody that is a speaker on a stage, I often get sidelined for male counterparts that do exactly the same thing. And I never know the reason for that. I always wonder if it's because they believe that it looks better to have a man speaking about it. I always think it's a ridiculous concept. But there's definitely challenges along the way of mainly of the perception. You know, I've been in places where my husband works for me. He's my copywriter, and we've been in several places where people have gone straight up to, even though I'll be paying for everything, I'll be talking about the business. Someone will come up to Sam and go, so what is it you do then, mate? And he'll go, no. I work for her. And they just can't quite get it. They're like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, she's the business owner, not me. And that happens so many times in my life.
Yeah, that has got to be so frustrating, isn't it?
It's frustrating, but I understand that it's something that's going to take time to change because, you know, we have been told constantly that we're the people in charge of the home. And until that changes and people see the equality that there needs to be on both sides, not just from the business side and the workplace side, but also from the responsibility in the home side, it's never going to change.
There are probably people listening right now, Lisa, there's probably women listening right now who have had an idea for a business, but for whatever reason, they've put it off for months, years, decades, who knows, right? They've just decided, I'm not good enough. I'm not cut out for that. That's not what I should be doing. What would be your advice to them right now?
To just start. There's so many things that you will think will be a barrier, so many reasons why you'll think, what's the point? But actually, there's so many women doing amazing things out there. I wrote a book called Make Money Online for this purpose, because it's just step by step. It's not actually complicated to start a business. It's kind of quite easy to start a business and start making it a success if you know what to do. I think that the confidence of women sitting there thinking, I really want to go for it, but what if it fails? So what? At least you've given it a go, and then you can tweak things and carry on, start again and get back up.
You've got to go. You know, I love watching The Apprentice. You've got to have the confidence of somebody on The Apprentice, I think, in all aspects of life.
Maybe that's too confident. I don't know.
Lisa, if people want to sort of see what it is that you're doing and know more about your success and maybe find that as an inspiration for them to get out there as well, how can they find out more details?
The easiest place to look for me is on Instagram. I'm at Lisa Johnson Strategist, or my website, which is lisajohnson.com.
Well, this is the other thing, social media, right? You've just said Instagram, easiest place to find you. Have you had a chance, because everyone today is talking about Threads, have you had a chance to get onto Threads?
Yeah, I've already written a how-to guide. It's out there right now on my Instagram.
No way. Yeah. Perfect. How do you find it then? What is Threads like from your perspective?
Well, I didn't like Twitter. I found Twitter a bit angry.
Wow. Yeah, it is. That's a good way of describing it.
So I'm quite liking it so far, just having a look at everyone chatting on there. I think you have to be careful as a business owner because you can just go down a rabbit hole and never come out.
Yeah, okay. So far, Threads has the seal of approval.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Fair enough. checking out. Everyone, search her up on Threads when you get there. Lisa Johnson.
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Lisa. How cool is that, though? I love stories like that. People that actually go for something, they make a big success out of it, and then they turn around and go, right, how do I inspire others? How do I give back? It's the right thing to be doing. BBC Three Counties